So, quite simply, I could just say that she's well written and went on a journey. But that would make this a pretty short and boring video, wouldn't it? So, what I thought we'd do is we'll look at the first film. Just the first film, because I think the first film pretty much tells us everything we need to know about Ripley's character. So, at the start of the film, we quickly realise that Ripley is the least likely character to become the hero. In fact, at the start of Alien, we see Brett and Parker ignoring her and playing games with her. They're literally pulling the wool over her eyes over what's wrong with the ship. And they're trying to negotiate some sort of pay rise, if I remember right. And as the film moves on, we see Ash completely disregard an order from her when she won't allow Kane, Dallas and Lambert on board. Of course, this is because he's got the parasite attached to his face. Now, to be honest with you, she was right, wasn't she? Because if she had have stuck to her guns, what happens in the film never would have happened in the film. So she wasn't wrong, was she? Plus, we also see Lambert slap her in anger because of the fact that Ripley wouldn't allow them on board. And this is when they're outside the medical bay and Ash and Dallas are taking a look at Kane. So basically, to this point, we've seen people take the mickey out of her, ignore her, strike out at her. So at this point, we are seeing someone who's a bit of a pushover. So like I say, the least likely person on the ship to actually be a hero, take control, have any type of power, if you like. So we are seeing a journey. However, we do see that Ripley is no idiot. I mean, she starts to sense something isn't right with Ash. And she keeps asking questions. I mean, there's parts when she's in the medical bay and she's trying to look at what he's looking at and you see him turn the screen off and she's like, oh, what's that? You know, and then she keeps asking things like, what's mother saying? And, you know, she's very sarcastic in her remarks. She clearly knows something's wrong, but she doesn't quite know what's wrong. All she knows is that, well, at least this is how it comes across. I don't think she likes Ash very much. And so she's trying to dig and find out what's going on with him. She doesn't quite know what, but she knows something's off. But when she loses Dallas later on, when he's down in the tunnels looking for the alien, that's when we see Ripley hit rock bottom. That's when we see her at her most vulnerable. You see her highly upset at the fact that she's just lost her captain, her friend, probably the only person really that listened to her. Of course, there are scenes in the film where she kind of has to force that, because there is a scene where he's brushing her off and she shuts the door in front of him so that he has to listen to what she's saying. But like I say, he is the one that listens to her more than anyone else. So at this point, she is really affected when they lose him. And I think it's also because they've lost Kane, they lose Dallas, which now means she's in control. So it's also probably the sudden realisation that now she's in charge. She's the big dog. So now she's got to make decisions, which could kill people. You know, maybe this is what it is. But you do see her at her most vulnerable. From here on in, she's in charge. And everyone follows her. You'll notice that after this happens, everyone's listening to her and they're doing what they're told. And she quickly slips into the role of like, right, I'm in charge and this is what we're going to do. There's no hesitation. So we are seeing Ripley on this journey. She's changing. She's changing as the scenario and things are changing around her. So we now see she's in charge and everyone's following her orders. And it doesn't take long for Ripley to work out what's really going on. Ripley quickly becomes a leader. In fact, we see Ripley running to help Parker and Lambert when she hears them screaming over the intercom. She's running into danger. And what's she going to do? Like, you know, I don't know if that's really the sign of a leader looking after her crew or worried about her friends, or whether it's just the sudden realisation that she needs to help them. could be a combination of all of them, but she goes running towards them with no idea really what she's going to do. I mean, if she had got there in time, what would she have done? She probably would have died with them. So, but it's good to see that we're now looking at someone who's gone from not being listened to, slapped around by Lambert, you know, generally treated like a joke, to someone who now goes running to help her crew members, her friends, with no regard for her own safety. And of course, we then have the final showdown, where she quite literally faces her demon and flushes him out of the airlock, out into space. And again, you know, you can see how scared she is. I mean, she makes a move over, she gets the suit on when she realizes he's on board, which of course is when his arm comes out. She gets the suit on, and then she sits down and she literally waits until he's just about to pounce on her, and then she hits the button. And then of course she fires that gun at him, the harpoon gun, and out he goes. Quickly she runs to the door because the gun is trapped, and she can see that he's trying to get back in, and then she hits the boosters. So we've seen her go from someone, like I say, at the start of the film that probably wouldn't hurt a fly, to now, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get rid of this thing. Like, I will kill this thing. I need it gone. Like, you know, it's literally come down to a case of survival, isn't it? Like, him or her, you know, and so there's no option. And so again, like, we've now seen this character change to, now, let's be honest, someone who's quite lethal, someone who's prepared to do whatever it takes. So in summary, this is why I love Ripley. And as we see her character progress, we see a barely heard and often ignored officer who goes on to become a strong, smart, heroic leader who will not give up. And this is why we love her. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please give us a like, share, subscribe. And until next time, take care, stay safe. Nerdy Geezer out.